Gentlemen, what's going on? Great to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
Awesome. So what's going on, guys? Hey. How's business?
Good. Not much. Just coming back from obviously Memorial Day weekend. It was a good time. A lot of us, were able to kind of catch up with all of our family and friends. Go to a bunch of barbecues. Great opportunity to kind of reconnect.
Nice. Where'd you barbecue?
I think in total in the last 4 days I had maybe 4 barbecues that I just went to. Yeah.
Bouncing back and forth.
Just bouncing it back and forth.
All family related, or was it?
Friends mainly, yeah. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to still get invited, but it's more or less like I pop in and I pop out. So. Yeah.
How long do you usually stay?
I mean, I think yesterday was Monday. I went to 2, and I try to stay for maybe at least 2-3 hours.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what about you guys? What you been?
Yeah, same thing. We have barbecues. We've done that since Friday. So, hot pots too.
What was that?
Hot pot also. We got hot pot. We got Korean barbecues. We're doing it all at home. So.
What's a Korean barbecue?
So it's pretty much you have the raw meats and then you have the little grill here. It's like a nice cylinder round ones. Then you put meat and you just grill it yourself.
Oh, so
small, like a portable type of grill. And then you just have eggs around the side too. So kids love that.
Oh,
That's
nice.
why I do it.
Joe, would you do golf?
I'd say Friday, yeah, but now I was just managing open houses, and then afterwards meet up with friends, go to some local bars, watch the Knicks win.
Yeah, finally.
Huge.
Most of this weekend revolves around what the Knicks do, so that dictates whether we're happy or sad.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I had some barbecues yesterday, and get to meet some friends that we haven't seen in a while, so that's good. You see the families keep growing, and this holiday weekend is just bringing people together and just sharing some good food and drinks and just having good vibes. And
Yeah, it was nice and relaxing.
Yeah.
The more homes that you sell, you get invited to more and more.
So I was going to ask you guys, what's your business like this year?
Pretty good. I mean, we're kind of rocking and rolling, all across the board. We have senior agents on our team, newer agents on our team, so it kind of picks up overall, it's net positive, to see where the direction is going.
What'd you start at? When you first joined your team and formed your team, what did it look like?
What do you mean?
Just how was it body-wise? Was it showing agents? Did you do it the right way? Were you the assistant first? What did it look like?
looking at it.
Yeah, I think when we have our team, when we create it, we never says, oh, this is a Raymond's team or Joe's team or Paul's team. We wanted to create it where it belongs to everybody. So whoever joins on the team, it seems like I don't just belong to this person named team, right? It's part of a bigger team that it could belong to myself too if there is a buyer's agent on our team. And the way our team goes is we wanted to create a team, a member on our team that able to do listings and buying, not just a role player. So, and that's always been going.
Specific. All right, here's my buyer's agent showing.
Correct, yeah.
Listing agents.
Right.
What do you guys predominantly do? You're more of a listing agent? Or?
So the way that the team kind of started, we were all entering into the business. We were always teaching, hey, go get listings. Listings equals leverage, right? And so with that in mind, we were very focused on getting listings. And so in the very beginning, when we first formed, we were always attacking to take market share. And then from that, be able to leverage, whether, through the open houses, you have that opportunity to convert on the buyers on that side. But predominantly our business, my business personally has probably shifted over to more buyer focus in the last couple of years.
Okay.
Mainly because in the last 5 years, I have not prospected as much, right? Going out there seeking new relationships, but more focusing on my current book of business. And so the way that the team operates is that every single member is responsible for their own book of business, but unified together, we leverage our branding together as a whole.
And then that also comes with the network, and also where you guys.
Correct. Exactly. So let's say, for example, someone wanted to get into development, someone wanted to get into or analyzing land for whatever the case is, going to, leasing a warehouse. We have specialists on our team that have the experience with any particular type of asset sale, that we can kind of lean on, whether it's co-ops, condos, anything from there, multifamilies,
Interesting.
dealing with tenants, stuff like that.
What do you? So I was talking to a couple people over the weekend. I was actually working a little bit yesterday. I was calling up some of the top agents. One of the people in particular I was talking to is Barry Bailey.
Sure.
I mean, him would be us, and so it was like an hour. We were just going over the business because we finally had time to get together. Happening. He was giving me some interesting points where he sees the business going. Like he
Right.
was saying Florida is in a weird place right now.
Okay.
He said where it was just, he said probably the inventory in Florida is more than the whole East Coast put together, just in Florida. I think he said that they're in a different type of market there altogether. And he said, yet there's still sales going on. Where do you see the New York market right now as a team? Are you guys be able to pick up the listings, pick up the buyers? Are you seeing, us coming out of this tornado that we're in?
I think so. There's still a lot of business to be had. So I think single family homes, people are still looking to buy that. And then the Queens side, I think people are still willing to buy it as long as the price makes sense. If they're willing to stay in the Queens, they don't want to commute too far out. So single families there, people are still buying, but at a certain price budget. Two family, it's anywhere from 1.5 to like 2 million plus. Yeah, so like new developments versus like older, but the older ones are like $1.67 million for two family. So people willing to spend that money and not go far, or they go far out and they spend a little bit more money. And then we have listing just came up. Like right now, it's an investment that I have in Woodside, MassPath Woodside. It's just a lot of calls. We haven't even get showing yet, but there's like 30 people that called me already.
Wow.
Wanting to see inside, on top of other calls that I didn't even answer yet.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so.
The demand is always there especially for single-family homes in Long Island, post-COVID. You feel like that the market is starting to loosen up and people are becoming less hesitant, and just the uncertainty is starting to, diminish. People are starting to get more comfortable, reaching out and say, okay, I'm ready to sell. We get in touch with people for years that are looking to still sell, but they're just waiting for the right time. It's on us to tell them the story of where the market is, especially in the hot areas that homes are going like crazy over asking price. And when they hear that, they're saying maybe it is the right time to sell. So they just need a place to go. That's the main thing, right? They're stuck on that 2%, 3% rates, and they don't want to go into 6, 7%.
Well, with that being said, we were talking also, do you see a distressed market coming into play?
I don't think anytime soon. I mean, there's some signs of it, but there's always going to be a strong demand. So, like our listings, if you price it right, we're getting a ton of calls, and with our marketing, we try and put it in the best light. So, at the end of the day, when the owners they see that, you see, reputation and the way we market properties makes them more comfortable to put it on the market and test it out. If it doesn't sell, or if they decide not to sell, then that's on them. But we at least give them the opportunity to try and get a good price. So like usually downsize, or if they have too big of a house, the kids moved out, or whatever the case is, or they want to move out of state, we make their transition very comfortable, we make it as smooth as possible so that they're not, there's no sign of uncertainty or comfortable.
Interesting. What do you say?
I think in general, going back to what you were saying, where do I see the industry? I think the industry is fine in the sense that there's always going to be turnover in sales. I believe that there's definitely, with more transparency of tools and research and all this data that is like being thrown at the consumer, there's still a huge lack of professionalism across the industry. And because of that, consumers don't really know exactly who to trust. When it comes to like a new listing comes up, they're still getting tricked by, all of these websites of like, oh, are you the listing agent? Oh, now you don't have to pay commission or whatever the case is. Now it's like these questions start happening again. It's so much confusion, or at least that's what I'm seeing now. And I see it on both sides, right? As a listing agent, I see it. And then also as a buyer's agent, I see that as well. So for that reason, I think the industry is fine because there's still going to be transactions and there's still going to be looming questions, and consumers they still want transparency and they want to be able to know exactly what they're buying. And given our experience walking through all different types of sales, whether it's co-ops, with income restrictions and whatnot, application restrictions, or from being a landlord perspective, then you got to deal with like lead-based paint disclosures now. You have to get lead paint tests, things. So there's always going to be new laws, and I think that's why the industry is fine for that reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you get in the business, man?
I don't know, like dinosaur, like 10 years, maybe like 10 years. I think I would say 10 years. These guys know a little bit more.
No?
Maybe like 10 to 11 years. Yeah.
How about you guys? What were you?
Around the same time. Yeah.
Like 2014, I joined the company. I think Raymond joined me like a couple months later.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I got a couple months on him.
Seniority.
Yeah. But we were in a different firm though.
What's that?
We were in a different firm.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
What did you guys start out?
It was a boutique Manhattan-based rental shop. Myself and Joe, we were there, and that's where we had met, and we started, co-working together. And then, Paul and myself, we went to high school, so we've known each other before we decided to embark on the real estate career. And
Interesting.
and then from there, we kept in communication, seeing exactly what we were doing. He entered directly into sales and doing maybe a few rentals, where the Manhattan-based boutique shop was mainly focused on rentals because of the fact that they had just opened up an office in Astoria. So that's where our career started. And then how we merged is once we went to Keller Williams, we kind of co-collaborated on resources and being able to see that the more resources that we have together, that you have more opportunity to succeed on a higher level.
To be fair, take me through, because this is interesting. Like when I ran a team, I was in charge, right? So it wasn't my way or the highway.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of was, but it wasn't. I like the intake or the input from everybody on my team. I would have weekly meetings, looking at the numbers, always holding accountability to the lead gen and everything else going on. How do you run a team with 3 people? What's that like? Even with Jeannie, when me and Jeannie were doing it, like once I took over the market centers, I did that, and she went on and started running the team.
Right.
And then it went in that direction. So when I was running my team, it was like 8 or 9 of us. Jeannie was partners with me, but I took the lead and basically held everyone accountable. Every Saturday we had a meeting, discussed our numbers. Every night we were hitting there. Everyone had a schedule on when they had to be in. And it was lead genning where there was basically calling at that time because there wasn't really restrictions on the phones and all of that. So we were able to hit the expireds, hit the for sale by owners, and we could do that every day. Instead of just 1 or 2 people doing it at 3 hours a day, we had 6 or 7 people. So you can only imagine how many listings we had, and the ability to control the market with those listings. The only problem was it was a buyer's market, right? But at the end of the day, it was one person leading it. How do you do it with 3? Don't you guys get into like, how do you do it? It's interesting to me because again, I don't see any issues that ever come up, but I know I'm not there every day, but what is it like?
I think everybody, over the years, we kind of figure out each other's what's a strong points and the weak points. So for us, we end up dividing it same way, who's in charge. So we have Raymond doing more on the sales side of things, right? And Joe does marketing, and I'm just like the like managing and whatever other things behind operations wise. So once we kind of get hang of that, then we kind of know where things goes. And then in terms of where the other people do, so sales, Raymond will have them accountable. Hey, you guys have to make these certain calls every week, right? And then there's certain other issues when they have listings comes on, then we actually rotate around. So when there's a listing that appointment set by the ISAs, they could either choose any one of us that may fit this particular seller, that knowing the high chance of getting it. So we have one of the ISAs, Jessica, she went with Joe in Long Island because that just feels like his more forte. And she chose me to go to Auburn. It's like two families, so it's more like investing, so she told me to go with them.
Okay.
Right? And then there's another one, Jazzy, she used Raymond to go because I think he understands more. So every one of the SAs could choose every one of us to go, and that's how we kind of rotate things around,
Okay.
every day's operations wise.
That's
And then
Yeah.
as far as like to kind of answer also further is we do call each other out every single year. Like
I'm sure you
given
do, yeah.
so given that we've been together probably for maybe seven to 10 years at this point together collectively, knowing exactly what our strengths and weaknesses are. We have those quarterly meetings. We have, you know, we first started off with monthly meetings, and then because the industry or because the real estate business is very cyclical, of course it's changing at this point now, right? But we've had monthly meetings, we've had quarterly meetings, and then we have our annual meetings where right before the new year we go over our numbers, and then that's where we kind of review our internal comp structure as well, right? Because like you said, you start to naturally see who's really doing business, who's not, you know, who's really leading, who carries more responsibility over others, and you have to kind of like adjust the comp model to be able to make sense, so that way you guys can together move forward from there. It's always about, like, every single year we're always trying to figure out, you know, what can we do better and how do we move forward from where we were, you know, and what didn't work essentially.
So it's not like, and I don't mean this, it's not like herding cats, where everybody's all over the place, right? It's everybody's focused in those meetings and.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall we have a knack to want to succeed.
Sure.
You know, at some point, if none of us want to succeed, I don't think that we would be together. You
Sure.
know.
We have a common vision that keeps us bonded. I mean, we're
Yeah.
not a traditional team where there's like the rainmaker, buyer, agent.
Yeah.
We're a three-headed monster, and people have.
It seems to work.
It's
Right.
worked, yeah.
And sure, in every single room, there's always going to be one person that's going to be more vocal than others. You know, a natural leader always, you know, rises. But, you know, what's beautiful about us is that, you know, a natural leader rises at any given time. You know, so I could be having a bad day, Joe could be having a bad day, or Paul could be having a bad day. But the blend of the entire team is that we'll be fine.
We pick each other up like any
Yeah.
other sports team. Not
Yeah.
everyone's gonna have, you know, a great season or a great game. You know, if someone's slacking, the other two pick us up. And we have our own. We kind of operate like different divisions.
It's interesting.
So like any agent that comes on our team, they have access to all three of us, so they support of us. But we also want them to grow and become a full agent, not just a buyer agent, a seller agent. We want them to be able to do both.
So if I'm joining your team, what's the opportunity for them?
To leverage, ultimately leverage your existing sphere of influence, your book of business, whatever the case that you bring to the table, like why you are you. And then our job, you know, as leaders is to be able to try to extrapolate whatever it is that your current business is. So let's say your average like 5 to 12 or 12 to 24, our goal is always to see what can we do in order to expand that growth. Whether it's like, okay, let's say all of a sudden you have, you know, missed opportunity on the open houses, then then we have other agents that can kind of latch on and work those buyers as well, right? So and that's what the natural way is. You know, let's say if you're a senior agent, for example, one of the houses that I sold in Syosset, we were able to get like 4 deals out of it within like the next 3 consecutive months. And it wasn't because of me as the listing agent, it was because of the amount of people that magnet listing was able to attract. And that happens all the time. By not being on the team, you won't have that first right or access, right? And then aside from that, we also have our events as well that, you know, we collectively kind of put together on an annual basis as well. So.
If you don't mind getting into that a little earlier, what are those events? And how do you put those together? Like, what's the details in that? Like, what do you do, and like, when do you start to think about this and putting it into play?
Yeah.
So what's the next one coming up?
Well, the first one that we've done was the client appreciation end of the year party. We've done 5 consecutive now. We pick a new venue each time.
Why
Usually
do you
takes.
pick a new venue every time?
we go to different restaurants and bars, and
And we have more weight.
Oh, yeah.
Once you grow, we have more weight.
usually takes at least like 2 months out, 2 to 3 months out. We go and start shopping around, getting pricing, and seeing which is a good fit for our team and our image.
Correct.
See what kind of food packages, drinks, whatever, and then we start marketing it to our past clients. Because after we sell them a house, or they sell their house with us, we don't want them just to go away.
Sure.
So we we kind of build a community, like the Imperium team, like past client community, and over time, over these events, see repeat,
Attendees.
It's funny, I was using
then
the
they
cutting
tend to
board
know
this
each
morning.
other
There you go.
afterwards. Yeah.
The cup, yeah, exactly.
The cutting board, yeah, I was
Yeah.
using it this morning. We keep going.
Oh,
I'm
the
sorry.
cutting board. Yeah. We do a lot of merchandise. We have friends in the printing industry. We print on everything. We got some Imperium.
Right here.
We always got all different shirts and cutting boards and glasses and
So let's
random
take me to the
things.
events. So,
Yeah.
so you do your
end of the year party. That's always a good end of the year. Everyone's in festive mode. It's
how
like
many people?
average is anywhere from 70 to 90 on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they expect it to be like the same or even better each year, and we keep getting better and better.
Same people showing up all the time?
Mostly, and then now we start having like an after party, so like inviting friends and other realtors, and so it becomes even bigger.
Yeah.
Last year we started because we don't want to be kids there to make anyone get distracted.
Sure.
So we decided why not have a party where there's kids invited now. So last year we started our first client appreciation summer kickoff. We did it at Eisenhower. We had about 125 to 150 people there. They bring their family, friends, barbecues, drinks, music.
Who's doing the cooking for you?
We hire
You do?
friends.
Oh,
We don't
yeah.
hire.
Yeah,
We just kind of
okay.
take turns. Yeah, just
Smart.
friends that we know that are good at cooking, or family that wants to help out. They want to get involved. So it's a good time. So we're doing it again this year at the end of June, right before July. So kicks off the summer again.
Sure.
Kids
Get,
out of
get
school.
the kinks out. Last
Kid-
year
yeah.
was our first time, so
What was that like?
That was
we didn't
great.
plan enough time to prep setting up, because you can't drive there with the your cars. You have to walk, and it took us maybe 4 or 5 hours to set up. But this year we're gonna get there much earlier and plan it out better. But
We learned, so it's not that
yeah,
bad.
it was fun. Everyone loved it. It was a good time. So this year we're just trying to.
How long does it go for? Like, what's it?
We do it for 4 or 5 hours, but we say we could stay longer. Everyone stays till the sun goes down. Music kept going.
Hang out with DJ, cooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
Face
music.
painting.
We had a lot of games, face painting, things like that. We had a lot of games, drinks. It was just good times. It was good vibes.
What's the amount?
We had we even had a pinata
Like
too.
at least
60,
20.
40, 60, 40, where it's
60,
like
40.
40% kids.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
That's Paul's department. He had all the games going, and
yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, because I have kids myself, so I figured what would they like. So bring bubbles. We didn't do water gun. Maybe next year, this year rather, we'll do water gun. So something to keep the kids entertained, so at least adults will have fun too. Because again, like Joe said, we want a family edition versus just adults chilling and doing the client appreciation event.
How do I get?
Yeah.
If I'm a client, how do I get invited to this? Is it just automatic? Every client you have, you have to buy or sell? Is it somebody that's in your pipeline now?
if it's someone that we've sold with, or past client, or current client, or potential future client, we want to show them our culture and show how a team works. Maybe they're interviewing agents, and then we say, hey, come to our picnic, and they see that we're much bigger than they think that we are.
Right.
That definitely helps.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we're trying to get at least 200 people this year.
Nice.
And it's always, it kind of stems from our own personal book of business, as we were referring to. So even our newer members on our team, we invite them to, invite their past clients as well, to be able to show that at the end of the day. What I found is doing this for about 10 years, we all have our own personal lives. It just becomes harder and harder to stay in touch with every single person that you've touched, and so it just provides another opportunity for us to be able to connect, whether it's 2 times a year, whether it's 5 times a year, it matters.
What is how do you handle your book of business? Take me through that. So I'll give you what I used to do compare. And I'm just curious how things changed. I used Harvey McKay, Swim with the Sharks. I guess there's I think it's a 66 touch plan and it's not the 66 touch that Keller has. It was basically 66 questions that you ask every client from their birthday to their kid's name. my strategy was, so I always stayed in touch with them. It would be every second or third day, my assistant would call them, and it would be something like, hey, Joe, this is Danielle from, the Amato team over at America's Bravest at the time. Rich asked me to give you a call. Hold on 1 second. And then she would basically, it probably got old because they knew what we were doing, obviously. She would put them on hold and then come back. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I overshot. We jumped on another call. Well, I got you. I got to ask you a couple questions just so we have the information. I never go through when's your date of birth, how many kids you have. And he asked 3 questions every time out of your 66 until we finished it. And what that did for us, it kept us in touch with our clients every couple of days. So if they did have any questions when we were asking ours, it would come up. So it just made our world a lot easier staying in communications with them, because I always, when you're doing these expires, one of the biggest things I heard back then was, the reason I'm going with a different broker is because of lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
My agent never called me. So my thought was, okay, I'm going to call them even if I don't have information, because most agents are like, yeah, I don't want to get involved in this call because I don't have any information, especially when it's a buyer's market.
Right.
Don't have anything to tell them, so it's always better to stay away from them. And if they want me, they'll call me, right? That's not the proper way, I don't think. I think you should still stay in touch with them. Even if you don't have anything, you come up with something else. So we came up with these questions that we would ask. And then at the end, hopefully the house was sold. Or at least they couldn't say with these in communication, and they'd always be listed with us until it did sell. Because it wasn't like today's market, where today's market you're getting an offer at your first showing. You get 18 offers in some cases in the first 3 days, which us back then, I don't know if you guys were in the market back then, this is like 20, I say 08, 09, 10, 11, right around that time frame.
Right.
You would sit on the market a year and a half on the spot. It was brutal, right? Because you would have so much inventory. You know, come up with different ideas on how to touch them. And then, we had a fish pond that we used to call it, where we had 100 A's, 100 B's, and 100 C's. I probably went over this with you guys before, where the A clients are the ones that you're doing business with now. Those are the guys that are under contract, the girls that are under contract, so about to go under contract or sell. And then the B's are the ones that are out there working with you now. They're either listings or they're, buyers that are out there. And then the C is thousands of people that are just in there to keep going, and how it went was just a circle. We usually go back into the C's, and it was just constantly staying in touch with them. Just curious, do you have anything like that you guys are working with now as a group, and who would be handling that in out of the 3 of us?
I think, again, we all have our own business, so we'll keep in touch with our own buyers, clients. So for me, just shooting, I don't have the birthdays per se, but I do follow up. If it's a woman, like Happy Mother's Day, I usually message on those people. But I would say maybe like 60-70% more Asian. So what I always do, they have Chinese holidays. I will have September. There's like the Autumn Moon Festival, so I would just buy like a mooncake and drop off to like 10 people that I think always giving me business. So that's what I do to keep in touch with them. And then there's the Chinese New Year, where I just drop off another box like oranges for that. So it's like the ones that don't come to the party, especially, right? So I go that, and then also during the Christmas time, and for the ones that don't come, I'll kind of like separate, like the ones that I don't give out Christmas candies or whatever during the holidays. I always visit them during the Chinese New Year, which is like a month and a half away from them. So I see them. So it's at least like 2 times a year that I communicate with them, besides like the random text messages, because that, it's like holidays for Chinese people, so it's a little bit easier for me to say, hey, how's the holidays, and they'll just invite me to for like a quick dinner or whatever, whenever they get off. So that's how I've been keeping in touch with them.
And then to bring them to these events, you're just doing a separate touch with them, or how long in advance are you prepping to get them to come to these events? Like, when am I going to know about the barbecue? Am I going to know about it in January, or am I going to know about it in April? Like, when are you guys planning it? When's your end of the year party? Like, do I know about it in October, August?
About like
last year, or a couple months prior?
I mean, we've been doing it now, so they all kind of expect it, but we do about like a month, no, more like about 2 months or so. But we prep everything by then, because we need to lock down the location. So once we lock down the location, the date, we figure out the date that everybody attends from the past years that we know they're coming.
So we question, do you have any input on the location, or no? Do you ask them for advice, or?
You know, from
Throw
time
us
to time,
feedback,
I
yeah.
mean, when you have like 150 guests, you know, you're always going to get input. But for the most part, you know, it's mainly the overall brand of the Imperium team is we are Long Island based, and a lot of our initial clients have moved from, you know, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, and whatnot over to Long Island, and so, you know, we have, you know, maybe a small pocket of business in Suffolk, but also the majority is in Nassau County. And so we've always tried to keep it within equidistance to our overall book of business.
Try and make it accessible,
Yeah.
easy for the Queens people and also for the Long Islanders. So we kind of, like early Nassau County, off of Parkway is preferred, whether it's a restaurant or a park or whatever the case is. So
I
we
thought
try.
I heard it was your team. I'm sorry to cut you off, Joe. I heard it was your team that did the surveys with the group and asking them where they want to go, so you keep your clients, you know, fully engaged.
We keep their, we're considerate of everyone,
Yeah.
so we try and be as fair as possible. If we favor one, you know, one town, or so we usually just decide on it and they'll show up.
Yeah.
Because they know the experience they're gonna, and if they're new to us, and we show them like the previous, like we have pictures and videos, and we show them the, you know, like the kind of crowd that we had, they get excited for it. Like whether, like, let's say right now we have listings that we just like took, but we let the client know this is the kind of events that we throw for our team. Eventually, you're gonna be part of it. So we put that in their mind so that when we invite them, they already know about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I also heard with you guys is that you guys get your vendors involved too.
Yeah.
Right. We do that as much as possible, right? Like, we're always not about like, you know, tit for tat, like, okay, what are you going to give me type of thing. We lead with the idea that what we're trying to do is overall work on our overall brand of the Imperium team. And so through that, our clients, customers and whatnot, our partners, referral partners, they all are experiencing the fact that we're just trying to, you know, create this community that shares, right? You know, this community that shares, whether it's resources or deals or whatever the case is, everyone just gets a good experience leaving knowing that, you know, they can rely on us to be able to have some sort of answer. And if we don't necessarily have the answer, at least we have access to resources that has the answer. And that's how we kind of work on the overall brand of the Imperium team. And then, of course, within each and every single member within the team, we have our own personal brand, right? So, for example, he has a specific type of clientele, I have specific type of clientele, and then also Joe has, you know, specific type of clientele. And then each one has personal hobbies, you know, and we try to build a baseline throughout everyone. You know, to be able to build some type of common ground and then build that community so that we can all grow together.
Okay.
Does that kind of make sense? You know, yeah.
For the vendors, like the ones that we work with, you know, attorneys, lenders, you know, inspectors, we give them an opportunity to be in front of our whole book of business. And then if they can do business from that, then we just give them the opportunity to be present with us.
Exactly. And the larger that we grow, right, as a team, our preferred vendors, whether it's inspectors, bankers, and whatnot, they are able to make an impact through our newer agents, our senior agents, and everyone in between. For example, you know, maybe a close preferred vendor of mine may not necessarily see business from me on a quarterly basis as frequent anymore, but they may get that opportunity now with the people that we've impacted within our team. And as long as such that they also understand that, you know, where it's more of a building a relationship opportunity, you know, because we're here to stay versus like, we're not just in it for a one shot, you know, oh, you're in for a season. Okay. Like there's preferred vendors that it took years for me to be able to give them business, right?
Without doubt. Yeah.
But
Understand that.
But it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person either, right? So it doesn't mean that neither of us are bad people.
Our team is more of a platform for everyone to kind of like bond and you know, past clients, they can meet each other at our parties and they become friends.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Everybody's, it's pretty cool.
It becomes a small
we
world.
just give
and
the
it- yeah.
opportunity for our vendors, for our clients, for our family, friends, just to all be in a good environment, happy.
How many of your clients end up in your world becoming vendors in your world, right? So you got the accountant that ends up, you sell an accountant or you know, a house, and now you find them in your world that you're helping out. Does that happen?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
does.
naturally happens, and if they end up selling with someone else, they get uninvited.
That's not gonna happen, though,
Yeah.
honestly.
No, I think what you mean is by like for vendors, right? Let's say they operate a service, whether it's cleaning and restoration or whether it's we do have that, and that's happened.
Landscaper,
Contractors,
yeah.
landscapers, and accountants, financial advisors.
Doctors you can refer, lawyers,
Right.
anything.
Anybody with a
I'd be
business that
careful
just wants to be in
referring
front of
doctors,
our
though,
booth.
Yes.
because
Yes, because you never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly,
Yeah, it's, but if attorneys and anybody else out there that you could trust, and again, I trust doctors too, it's one of those things where you're able to get them involved in your world.
Right.
And come into your estimate.
Yeah.
such that they, such that they bring it up, right? For the most part, I think each one of us also don't ever want to get to that point of being too salesy as well, and it should come more natural.
Well, I don't think you guys, that's the common thing I see about you. Every time I walk by you guys and we're in the office together, the one thing you guys never come off the sales, and it's, you can tell you guys are running
Right.
professional on it. And I think that's a lot of our people in Gold Coast where it's really professional and the way
Yeah.
it's taken care of.
I think it's a way to stand out because in today's day and age now, if you really think about it, there's more transparency. There's a lot more agents in the industry. And if everyone is so systematized and scripted, how can you actually show your personality and show your value? Right?
100%.
Yeah, funny story too, because I'm doing involve myself more in the commercial side of it this last few years, and talking to people from the city, like those guys, Marcus Millichap and those guys. First thing I hear, this guy is very sales pitchy. It's like I'm talking to a robot. There's no emotion the way they talk, and I'm saying, is this either a commercial type of agent or they're just a Manhattan type of agents? I don't know if you.
I think it's certain people at certain levels. I think salespeople, like great salespeople, in my opinion, know when to turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah.
But it's like a phone call. You know how we call if Raymond has a listing, I call him up. Hey Raymond, hey, how you doing? Can I show you a listing? You have a great listing. Yada, kind of more engaging.
Yeah.
But these people call me. Hi, this is from Marcus Millichap, and I want to show this listing. And I'm like, there's no emotion the way they talk, and that's why I feel like it's a turnoff in terms of like, you're the salesperson, right? Like the way we talk, I feel the way we all kind of brought for the last 10 plus years, is just a little bit more emotional. Like, how do I attach this person? Like, what can we make ourselves different from the salesperson?
Well, let me ask
Yeah.
you a question then on that, right? Because I think I know what that's linked to, right? That's newbies coming in.
It could be too, yeah.
It's also
it could-
resi versus commercial.
Resi versus
right?
commercial,
And
that's
then of course what ends up happening is a lot of the residential guys have become very successful, so now they naturally go into commercial.
Oh, one, two, yeah.
And then so they understand the emotional side of buying resi, right? And then they go into commercial, they're kind of expecting that same experience of
Correct.
emotional,
And
right?
it's not.
It's all numbers.
It is
It's
not
not-
emotion, yeah.
it's all numbers,
And
yeah.
I kind of like that too. It is less emotional, obviously.
Right,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
less.
Personally,
Yeah.
none.
Right, just look at the numbers. Does this make sense and things like that. The only time really factors in if you really, really like this location. I mean, like you will pay for a premium. Like, oh my God, I love this. Then maybe that was the emotional side of it, from my experience. Other than that, it's
Even when I'm doing, I can only speak for myself really when it comes to this, on the commercial side or the resi side, when you're buying, let's just say properties, like we're buying, I have a group of people that I'm working with where we're buying stuff in different states right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do about I don't even know where it is, the houses.
Right.
You know, 1,000 houses somewhere, you don't even know where they are, or 1,000 doors. It's just, okay, numbers make sense, this is how it's
Right.
gonna be, this is what we can, do, and this is when we're gonna get our money back, and, and it becomes like a machine to the
Correct.
point, where
Mhm.
that's what it is. Where on the resi side, you're right, you can, which is better because people this is their number one transaction in their whole life.
Or the biggest one.
It's the biggest
yeah.
one. Yeah, it's something that you're going to be involved in. And they're going to remember you, whether you're not going to, you might not remember them, but they will remember you for the rest of their lives because it's so important to them. It's like you remember when you were 18 and you buy your first car. You remember yourself. At least I still remember my salesperson when I bought my first car. It's like the weirdest thing because it kind of changed my life at that point because, again, it was my first big purchase. And then when we went on and we bought our first house, I still remember my first agent when I got into that. And you still remember these people because they were such a big part of your life. In commercial, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Right, because commercial, again, like the Resi said, you're going to remember Joe and you guys for selling the house. But when you're renting a spot, I'm going to look at you.
Yeah,
okay,
good
here's
luck
the
in your
numbers.
business.
That's it. What
Yeah.
are you going to get for me? What's the deal going to be?
Yeah.
You know, how does it look? It is interesting, though. What do you like better? You like Resi or commercial?
I'm trying to transition myself more to commercial side of things. Just because even when we started a long time ago, when we're doing it, I like the people who's investing in a 2-family, 3-family mixed uses. Like that was kind of my thing, and just give a background. Like my parents, they invest in hot properties, so I was like, okay, it makes sense for me. I take care of the tenants. Anytime I pick up rent, problems on me, so I could relate a little bit more to these people if they're buying a commercial property versus a residential's, right? And I tell them, this is the rent you could get. This is the problem that you're gonna face if you're buying a 2-family or multi-unit, right? What are the challenges you have, and what you expect on the return on these. So, a case in point, when you mentioned earlier in the conversation of where the market's going, commercial is still numbers, and I have people looking only at a cap of 6.5, 7 and up. Back then, prior to COVID, people was like, hey, if you get 5, I'll be good, right? And that was the point. The 5% cap is how we even marketed the properties back then. Now, I tell sellers, we just have somebody else right now try to work on this. And I tell the sellers, like, look, we have to go out 6.5 if you want that $2 million mark. If you could pro forma, meaning what you could expect to get out of it, then at that point, maybe someone's gonna get like a 7%, 7.5 based on your price, right? But I can't get anything lower than that because I know there is no traffic based on everything I see, right? And those sellers, they think they have a gold mine, like, yeah, my block is great. And I'm like, yeah, but my buyers don't really care too much. Like if your rental incomes and net operating income makes sense, I will take a look at it. If not, then I'm not gonna touch it.
It's really interesting. How about you?
Yeah.
Residential
Which one do I
commercial?
like more?
Yeah. Not that
I'm fine with both. I'm fine with both because on the Resi side, it's the emotion. It's to be a part of it, and I want to be able to, if I were to step away from this business 10 years from now, I would like to know that I've made some type of material impact as well on communities and whatnot. On the commercial side, same thing, right? Sure, I would love to sell like a sports stadium in the future as well, right? So there's always that as well. I like both,
Yeah, commercial takes a little bit longer, but you get bigger paychecks usually.
Sure. You look at it that way.
But yeah, but I like the residential and dealing with people and because then they tend to refer their family and friends to you if you do a good job. So as long as you treat them like family, that's the way I try to approach every listing or buyer is I'm gonna pretend not pretend but just treat it as it's this is my brother or sister or whatever the case is, or it's just me doing the deal. I'm gonna try and if you're looking for a house, I see if I can see myself living there, I'll show it to you. If I don't like it, then I'm not gonna waste your time. And then that really, they feel that and then they trust you more often. With listings, I act like I'm selling my family's property on everything, so that's you act with their best interest always. And once they feel that, they feel more comfortable, and then that makes it's more enjoyable. I mean, commercial is good too, but
I like the Resi side where there's one just this weekend. I think it happened twice this weekend. I get those texts of Rich, it's been 5 years since we talked. How's everything going? I got 2 of those this weekend.
Would you refer to?
What's that?
Would you refer to?
No, they wanted me to refer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what about you guys?
AI.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
It was interesting though. It was just saying hello. I never really did commercial.
Right.
I always looked at it where, hey, this is where I'm good. This is where lane I'm going to stay in. Hey, you want to do commercial, stay in commercial. I'll stay in Resi. It's funny. I was talking to Mariano, and one of the questions, I'm sure he's got this 1,000 times. Mariano Rivera reacts. You had that one pitch that you threw, that split that nobody could hit.
Sure. Just close it.
Why didn't you ever throw something else? And his response was, why would I? They couldn't hit that. Right? So if you can't hit that, why would I give you something to hit?
Right,
So I'm
sure.
just going to constantly use that pitch that's going to consistently. I looked at when I was doing real estate at that high level on sales. Why
Okay.
switch off and try something new? Let me just constantly hit what I can get done. So Eddie Lee, he used to come into my office, and I remember when I was on the phone, I'd sit there for 3 hours, and I was able to sit there, play foosball with them, and be on the phone at the same time. And it was because it was robotic, because it was the same thing over and over. Hey Joe, this is Richard Mile from Keller Williams. I saw your house at 123 Sesame Street just expired. What happened? And then let them talk, and I would be playing foosball as I put them on the mute. And every 2 minutes, okay,
Right.
boom, you know, it's, and just keep going and answering the questions that will go on. And I believe that the definition of insanity, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again. So if there are a lot of open houses, but I wouldn't do open houses. You do the opposite one. And believe it or not, 95% of the time we solve the points with that logic. Because again, it didn't matter what it was. You could do open houses on this house. You don't do open houses. We reversed it somehow. That got the house sold. Or it was just priced right. You know what I mean? And being open to working with people, like, and I'm sure you guys are the same because I've never gotten a complaint about you guys, is especially from other agents. I worked well with other agents.
Yeah, sure.
If I got something on the market, 123 Sesame Street comes on, I'm calling every single agent that I know saying, hey guys, 123 Sesame Street's on the market. If you have any buyers, help me out. Get this thing sold.
Right.
I didn't want to double it, but I wanted that ability to go in when you had something, you did the same thing for me. So I always wanted to look good in front of my clients. And I used to tell them, if you work with me, I'm going to get you into everything. And it's not because of this or that. It's because people like to work with me. Right, because again, I'm going to get it done, and I will let everyone know. Look, they go by. God bless. I understand. Just give me a shot, and let me be number two. Because I realize number one doesn't always work out.
Sure.
Right? Number one, apparently, you can't get everything doesn't work out your way, and it's going to fall. So who's the best position is number two. So you wanted the second guy in command, and that's what I always went with. Do you guys? Again,
I find that funny.
What's that?
I find that funny because as we've been through long enough where we end up on the first and second, right?
Sure.
So on the first, obviously it hurts because I was talking to my friend in Greenock, the one we lost, it was a $2.2 million house. And I was the first one to kind of go over, but she wasn't ready at that time. So my friend was like, hey, you're kind of just like that girlfriend. And then they finally married. So they give it to that person and they sold on the weekend. And I'm like, hey. But then sometimes we look in the past transaction, we are actually on the second in line. That person spent like all these 2-3 years with some other agent to say, oh, they never found me anything. And they're ready once you take them out and they just buy something right away.
You gotta remember too, I'm going to give it a tip here, so it's not going to handy for you or not. It's just my opinion too. I never wanted to be number one in the house. Never. Because number one, with my sales background, I would tell you, look, if you're just going to meet with one person, you need to. Why would you just meet with one person? You got to really make sure you want to be in line with that, with the right broker. And that was just my pitch. Now, some of the times they closed and they did it. And they worked with me because they liked what I had to say. But 50% of the times they're going to interview another broker. And like you said, the second and third broker have an upper hand in some way because they're not going to not tell them what you said, right? So they can use that against you or for yourself to market the property. Well, my agent over at this place said the house is worth $750.
Right.
Well, okay, I think I can get you $799, or I can get you, I think it should be priced at $725, and work our way up to and you have an upper hand with that first person did.
Right.
So that's the other logic behind it, but it's all a game at the end of the day, and it's how you come off to that person at the end. And I think you guys would agree to me on that, where it doesn't, in some cases it doesn't matter. It's just doing the best job for them and having the best pitch, and I think that's what you guys do have.
Yeah.
You have that ability with people going in and saying, hey, look, in my case, I would say, if you don't like dealing with me, I understand that. Here's Jimmy.
Right.
Here's John. Here's James, and you guys have that. How often does that happen in your cases? I'm sure a bunch of times, right? You guys are covering learn from each other, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we take on these things together, we usually try to split the time, or like if I can't make it, Raymond will be there, or Paul will be there, and if we can't make it, we have our team fill in, so we give them the ability to step in and go to appraisals and inspections or just open houses, but for the
So
I-
I was with you guys.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to get to is at the end of the day, every single client or every single listing taken or buyer client taken, there's always going to be a lead agent. As long as that lead agent sets the expectations,
Correct.
with that specific client. Okay, I have someone else going to do assist with a couple of the showings. For example, like let's say when I'm on vacation, I usually have back in the day I used to have Joe go to a couple of showings with my clients, and they understand that they still get the same experience because the ultimate goal is still the same, right?
Exactly.
To get them a house, to sell their house. The process is still the same. So all of those things are kind of, I guess they're systematized in that sense in terms of our process of being able to launch a listing properly, to be able to syndicate the marketing properly, to be able to field the offers, to be able to sell the clients in terms of buying the house. All of that is kind of uniform, but there's always going to be a lead agent that is essentially the
point person.
exactly the point person that sets the expectation, and we try to teach our team members to be able to do that as well, not just bring us along just for us to close. Yes, of course, we come in, we're brought in to close because we understand the process of closing, to get the other person to sign on the dotted line, to set the timeline, of when to list the property, when to do the first open house and whatnot, and the reasoning for it. But there's always going to be the lead agent that sets, okay, who's going to come in next? When is the photographer coming in? When is the staging going to be done? So setting expectations is huge, yeah.
With that, it's almost, I see this, it's almost an advantage definitely to be on your team for that reason just alone. You have
Correct.
Three different, like we said, the three
different
different
styles,
mindsets.
different personalities.
Yeah.
And we do things similarly, but also differently.
Correct.
Yeah.
He might be one way, I might be more like a laid back, or whatever the case is. It's all personalities, and you got to just be able to, mix and match and be able to fit the personality to match the client.
Yeah.
If I need someone that is more assertive, it's like I'll bring Raymond. He'll come in and just be more like talk numbers and then just try and get the deal done. But
Yeah, in my case, when I was doing it was like that. We'll work with you. We're good with that. We're
Look,
organized.
So you play like the good cop, bad cop type of thing.
Look,
which
if they
you
work
kinda
with
make
any
that-
of us, it's fine,
You guys
right?
are-
At the end of the day, we all eat. Whether it's even our new members, we all eat together because there's opportunities on the leveraging side of the open house.
Yeah.
We don't like to think of it as like, oh, okay, there's only X amount of dollars that it can actually maximize on a specific listing or a buyer client. There's so much more.
Let me ask you one more question before we start
Yeah.
wrapping up. What is, are you guys doing events now around the open houses, or are you just doing strictly open houses right now? Are you starting to go into that whole event world where you're taking and doing events with the house now before the open house?
We most. What kind of events you talking about?
Just an event around that house that's being on the market where you do some kind of.
It's in the
Like a
future.
broker-
Yeah, it's in the
Always
future.
had that,
Yeah.
Depends
We're
on the
slowly
property,
growing.
right?
Yeah, it all depends on the
yeah.
property,
Like
obviously.
for example, the one that I currently have right now just came on. It's all tenant occupied. Like you're not
Yeah,
gonna
you
do
can't
anything on
do
that. But the things that we do, I guess, we all have the other guys join in, see if they want to door knock and get more leads. That's something that we still try to
Or
do.
door knock.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, not everybody likes to phone call all the time. Some people like door knock face to face. So I say, hey, come over here, get more leads, do it like 2 hours. You get some leads out of it too. So we try to milk it as much as we can. Pre showings, during, and post, right? That's something that we do. But for events, I don't know if we have a.
And I think that
Like
that's definitely in the future.
$3-4
So, for
million
example, like I've
listings.
sold, it's in the future, and I
Yeah.
think what you're saying is like, I sell a house in Belmore, and my friends, open up a dog bakery in Belmore. So then, every single person that attended that open house is a potential customer for that. So it's collaboration with the community, with collaboration with the brands,
Right.
and because of that, we have a larger impact.
Correct.
And so yes, that has been in the forefront, or has been a thought. We just haven't brought it to light.
Yeah, it's not doing it.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, you know, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you should do it, right?
Yeah, it definitely it's more exposure.
And that's the beautiful thing about our client events, like the annual barbecue, the client appreciation events, is that whoever attends, you know, you never know who you're going to bump into, who has another big community influence to be able to, you know, brand and collab together.
You guys in any B&I? Speaking of that, you guys in any B&I groups?
I've looked into them. You know, I think more recently I've kind of created my own BNI group, and just kind of like a road show for the last prior to this past week, I did kind of like a road show for 9 consecutive weeks. I did a happy hour in 3 different locations. You know, just inviting my my sphere of influence, my past clients that are community influencers, whether it's a past client or they operate their own type of business, and be able to put people together. So I've had financial advisors, tech recruiters, you know, it's just a big mix of people.
That's awesome.
And then I have a bigger plan to it next year, but you know, I'll go into that another time.
Sure. And then, all right, so unfortunately we're going to wrap
Yeah.
this up. It's been a while. It's a super great conversation, guys. Thank you so much. But going forward from all 3 years, what's your goals for 25? What are you looking to accomplish this year?
We try to do our goals 50 million.
50 mil?
We set it up. We try to hit that mark. Last year we did a little bit under 34. So we have total 9 people. It's very, very doable. Yeah, if everybody does just even like, what is it?
Just does that
5, yeah, even do a little bit over 5 million each person, that's almost hitting that mark,
Nice.
right? And the price is all $1 million, so that means everybody try to hit at least 5 closings, which is again very doable if you just break it down in numbers. That is our goal.
Just
Yeah.
continue to grow the brand,
Yeah.
grow the team.
And grow each other,
Yeah.
right? Ultimately. So it's not just one person. So it's all about being able to share and be collaborative.
Awesome.
So,
How about team-wise? You got to look to growth. You said growth on a team.
We
Yep.
always have the door open.
yeah.
What type of agency are you looking for?
Ideally full-time. We're a bunch of part-timers. We're looking for agents that are more, dedicated, most days of the week. But we all have things going on with our lives, different businesses. So, we can't demand that they be at the office for like every day or so. But we look for those that have the same vision as us, same personalities, and looking to grow with us. Because we're still a young team. Like, we've only been together for a couple of years, but we see the future having a ton of agents on our team. So
Yeah.
the agents that join us now are still part of like the first or second wave of additions. So we give them the ability to grow and then maybe create their own little teams underneath us.
Exactly.
So we're always looking in the future, but we just got to continue to grow, organically and internally. But yeah, we just feed off each other, and it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's a good
Lastly,
blend.
too, I know when we talk about being greedy stuff, and you know how you say, I'm not greedy, but I'm greedy for that. And we actually took that too. And when we spoke, all 3 of us, that's why we gelled for so long. We all said, we're not greedy in a sense, we're looking down on penny and dollars every transaction, because that's what, like when I started off, this coach told me, because what happens is people partner up after the first deal closed. They're like, hey, I'm getting less than you, So I tell the new agents, and even ourselves, so we constantly remind each other, it's not just one transaction. You can't just look at the numbers here.
Right.
You have to know what your breakdown is, but at the end of the day, it's not just one. So we always said, don't be greedy on these numbers, but be greedy for business.
Be greedy for more business, not for the number.
Yeah.
Don't look at just one little thing.
That's
Look
it,
at
yeah.
the overall picture. I think
Correct.
you guys are doing it well.
Yep.
Every time I'm in the office, I walk by you guys and I'm in awe. And I really do mean this. Watching you guys go and, come in, have conversations with you and listening to you, talking to you, and just watching you grow. It's amazing to me, just seeing what's going on. You guys, again, you're having a good time, but you're focused and you're doing your job. And I'll walk by and I'll pay attention a little bit and listen to you talking to your clients and knowing that you care, and the number one priority is to get that done for them. And, wish you guys all the luck in the world, obviously. You guys are, if you haven't met anyone,
Appreciate it.
who I am. Really excited to see you guys grow. Love you guys, and thanks for being here.
Much love too. Yes,
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. See you guys.
Thanks as always.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it.